All right, let's dive right into one of solo leveling's most defining moments, the showdown between Sung Jinwoo and the High Orc commander Kargalgan. Now, this fight isn't just about who can hit harder. It's a tactical masterclass that really shows us the terrifying truth about what a Necromancer can do. So the battle kicks off with this incredibly cocky line from Kargalgan. He just looks at Jinwoo's entire army and calls them cannon fodder. This one statement, man, it just perfectly sets the stage and shows you he has absolutely no idea what he's about to walk into. Okay, so let's set the scene here. To really get why Jinwoo's win is so impressive, you have to understand why Kargalgan was so ridiculously confident that he was gonna win. I mean, if you're just looking at the stat sheet, this looks like a total mismatch. You've got Kargalgan's elite high orcs. These guys are individual powerhouses, just built to smash things. And on the other side, Jinwoo's army is all about numbers and the fact that they can just keep coming back. It looks like a simple war of attrition, one that Kargalgan is almost guaranteed to win. And don't get me wrong, Kargalgan isn't just some dumb brute. He's a powerful mage commander, and his strategy is pretty classic, textbook stuff. Use your massive magic to just blast the battlefield from a safe distance, pin down the army, and keep the enemy leader away. Against a swarm of weaker enemies, it's a solid plan. So the two armies crash into each other, and it becomes this brutal, grinding war of attrition. Exactly what Kargalgan wanted. And here's the thing, both commanders think time is on their side, but for completely different reasons. Jinwoo knows his ace in the hole is that his shadow soldiers are relentless, they're unending, he can just throw them into the fight over and over and over again. From where Kargalgan is standing though, that just means he has to kill them over and over again. And this right here, this is the core of Kargalgan's whole plan. He sees that regenerating army as a giant drain on Jinwoo's mana pool. In his head, it's just a simple math problem. His overwhelming power versus what he thinks is a limited supply of magic. For him, victory isn't a possibility, it's an inevitability. But, and this is a huge but, Kargalgan has made a massive, fatal mistake. He thinks he knows what kind of fight this is, but he's playing a completely different game than Jinwoo. He might understand the word Necromancer, but he's about to get a serious education on what that really means. And that fundamental misunderstanding, well, it leads us right here to the turning point. This is the exact moment where the entire fight pivots, and the rules of the game are completely rewritten. One word. That's all it takes. Arise. With that single command, Jinwoo doesn't just summon another soldier. He completely shatters Kargalgan's entire strategy. The battlefield Kargalgan thought he had under control is about to become his worst nightmare. You can just feel the absolute shock and horror dawning on Kargalgan here. The very source of his power, his pride and joy, his elite high orc warriors are now getting back up and fighting for the other side. His greatest strength has just become his biggest weakness. And this is the secret sauce that Kargalgan missed. A true necromancer doesn't just show up with an army, they build one from the bodies of their enemies. Every soldier that falls on the other side doesn't just weaken the opponent, it makes you stronger. It's this terrifying snowballing loop of power. So, just like that, with one command, the entire dynamic of the fight is flipped upside down. Jinwoo isn't on the defensive anymore, he's on the attack, and his army is getting bigger by the second. And this chart just lays it out perfectly. Look at this. Before Arise, Kargalgan clearly has the stronger army, but after, Jinwoo's power level just skyrockets. Every single soldier Kargalgan loses is another soldier added to Jinwoo's side. That war of attrition he was counting on, yeah, it just backfired in the most spectacular way possible. After taking complete control of the battlefield, Jinwoo drops this absolutely bone-chilling promise. This is him signaling that the army versus army fight is over. Now, it's personal. The focus shifts, and Kargalgan is no longer a commander. He's just the final target. Now that the battlefield is just a chaotic mess of his own creation, Jinwoo completely changes his style. He stops being the army commander and goes right back to his roots as an assassin. And his final move is just a textbook assassin takedown. First, you create chaos. He uses the pandemonium of orcs fighting their newly undead brothers as the perfect smokescreen. Then, while everyone's distracted, he uses that cover to close the distance and take out the leader, who is now completely alone and defenseless. It's brilliant. And this brings us to the core lesson of the whole fight, really. It all comes down to a basic weakness in how these classes work. Think of it like rock, paper, scissors. A mage is incredibly powerful, but only from a distance and with protection. An assassin's entire job is to erase that distance and get past that protection. So you see, Jinwoo didn't really beat Kargalgan in that final strike. He won the fight the exact moment he stole the mage's bodyguards. By turning Kargalgan's best defense into his own offense, he guaranteed the win way before he ever threw the final punch. And Kargalgan's final words? They're not even angry. It's just pure, unfiltered disbelief. He's so powerful, so used to being at the top, that he literally cannot compute how he was so completely and totally dismantled. Look, this victory was so much more than just another notch on Jinwoo's belt. It's a terrifying preview of the Shadow Monarch's true world-breaking power. If he can take apart an elite army like this by turning its own strength against it, well, it really makes you wonder. The question isn't if he'll become the strongest, but what the world is going to look like when he does.